Another Monday, talking all things KC with our 55th elected mayor, Mayor Quinton Lucas. Mayor Lucas, you were discussing Trump's new bill that he signed with Reverend Al Sharpton on MSNBC over the weekend. And I'm sure you have looked over this bill and have seen how devastating that is going to be for Trump and Republican supporters locally, specifically our cousins in Green Valley, Platte County, Smith, all that surrounds KC. What impact do you foresee in the future for people in that particular party?
I mean, don't be confused by some of the fact that this bill has so much. It is slashing access to health care in many parts of our state. First of all, I'll just heard fireworks. First of all, you got people that are trying to get good care, particularly young people, working class families, poor families, and all types of parts around this country. And what this does is limits the opportunity for reimbursements of them. It's going to lead to more uncompensated care. What that's going to mean is that we're asking hospitals, and the reason that it impacts rural and ex-urban hospitals so much is because they don't have the population to help fund those types of services. Uncompensated care in the amounts is going to mean that they close. When they close, that means there's going to be more people coming to the cities for uncompensated care, creating more cost concerns, more demand concerns for us long term. It is terrible. I don't think I've seen a worse bill for rural America probably ever. And it's going to be bad for urban America too. And so, what is challenging is I hear a lot of people saying, well, it's not going to be that bad. Are they putting money back in? No, don't believe the lies. What this is going to do is destabilize healthcare in rural America. The next step it's going to do is make sure that it hurts it in urban cities. This is a betrayal to Donald Trump's voters by Donald Trump and his conservative allies. And it's going to be a challenge in places like here in Missouri.
So, Mayor Lucas, speaking of that MSNBC interview, it was also a question asked: is Trump going after black mayors? Talk to us about what that looks like. Why would somebody even say that? And what is your response?
I think if you look at what has happened in a few different cities, in Los Angeles, the president targeted the black woman mayor,
Mhm.
Karen Bass, for some time, who is an every way reasonable person after they were dealing with different natural disasters there, including forest fires. You are seeing that discussion in many other cities. And I think the reason is this: you have a lot of black mayors around the country who stand up for themselves, but also represent large black populations. We are communities that have been resilient in the face of many challenges for hundreds of years in this country, but in this situation aren't backing down from certain things. I'm not backing down from hiring black people at City Hall. I'm not backing down for standing up for health care for people, particularly poor people in our community. We're not backing down from providing social services to people. I think the administration, and you saw this in the big bill vote, looks for people who may have an opinion for a second, but then they tend to acquiesce fairly quickly.
Mhm.
What you have from a number of mayors around the country is that saying, we're always going to stand for our community. We're going to stand up for the people. We're going to stand up for black communities and unabashedly be black, be proud, and be people that are fighting for Kansas City and all of its people each and every day. And that's where I think Reverend Sharpton got the question from. That's why I was proud to answer what Kansas City's response is.
Mayor Lucas, I recently spoke with Mr. Eric Weston from Next Page KC, and we were talking about the potential location of the New Royals Stadium. The Legends makes absolutely sense, FYI, to bat those rumors down. But the old KCATA site just west of 18th and Vine has me and the barbecue icon, Mr. Ollie Gates' attention as he recently spoke on his site. Now, it would expand all the way to Truman Road to like 18th Street. But it all makes sense to me, Mayor Lucas. You have it right in the middle of two districts, 18th and Vine and the Crossroads. The Negro League started right there. The A's started right there. The Chiefs started right there. And the Royals all started at Old Municipal Stadium. Gates and Arthur Bryant's is right there in that neighborhood, in that location. Mayor Lucas, is this a possibility?
I think anything's a possibility. What we need to make sure we get the teams to do is make a decision. Today, the Kansas Coordinating Council, Legislative Council, that is doing the Star Bonds offer to try to poach both the Royals and the Chiefs, is expected to extend the time to negotiate between Kansas and the Royals and the Chiefs for up to 6 months. And I've heard in some situations a year. I'm agnostic, actually, as to where they end up within the boundaries of Kansas City, Missouri, although I think greater downtown, and I include in that the site you just mentioned, makes the most sense. You want to build it around population. You want to build it where you can connect people. So I think the ATA site and the Old Manual Technical site is interesting. I think you would end up taking both of those, Old Manual and the ATA, like you were saying, from Truman Road to 18th Street, probably Paseo over to Troost. And that gets, I think, a lot of your site goals. What we're trying to get the Royals to say right now is just to commit to being in a community so we can do that further negotiation and discussion. It all makes too much sense to come to the core of the city. And I think you make a good point, right? Municipal Stadium was kind of in the core of things, even if on the traditional east side, for a reason. Because it's close to people, it's close to population, it's close to activities and events. They need to be somewhere close to that. Otherwise, if they just build another suburban stadium, why move from where you are now? You can always just put more stuff out by 40 Highway, by I-70, and Blue Ridge, if that's what you're looking to do long term. So I understand where Mr. Wesson is coming from. I think my main interest is getting the Royals to a decision. And after that, we're happy to have them here in the core of the city.
Now, Mayor, I heard you say you heard some fireworks popping. What do you have to say to these jokers out here still popping firecrackers on Monday, July the 7th?
They still
Thank you. Thank you. Monday morning, and some people still like, oh, I got to get through my supply. Here's the thing, right? We gave you a pass basically on 4th of July night, probably gave you a pass on Thursday night. You're about to start getting tickets, right? It's the sort of thing that is enough now. And by the way, for those of y'all popping fireworks in the morning, my kids are still asleep. Don't go waking them up. That just makes everybody's day longer, scares the dogs, all that sort of stuff. But, I hope people behave. It was in many ways a largely safe weekend in Kansas City, not perfect. But let's try to keep that going through the summer because we know we've had too much already. So put the fireworks up, save them for later, or do better. Take them out of town, go out to the lake somewhere, wherever you go, and let them all deal with it.
And Mayor Lucas, one last thing before we let you go. Can you speak on that the man who claimed that he lost his job at the hands of you for posting a video of the water plant? Is that true or false, or that's just
it was incredibly false. Let me tell something to all of y'all on TikTok, and it's TikTok, it's Facebook, it's everything else. Because y'all remember, what was it, about a month ago, they said a brother got fired for I think fixing the lights above a basketball court in Swope
that was
Park.
an AI story.
Yeah, got arrested. And I was like, first of all, I know we ain't arresting anybody half the time. And so we're really not arresting somebody for fixing the lights in Swope Park. I mean, look, y'all have to try to make sure that you do at least some doesn't make sense vetting of the story. The TikTok story that Brian's referring to more recently, the man wasn't wearing a KCMO Water shirt, and we got like 5,000 employees at the city. Trust me, I ain't dipping down to try to pick on somebody who's at the waste management plant. And he wasn't. There's even more wrong with it. Verify before you start spreading something, and don't always be skeptical about what's happening in our community. Hope the brother finds a new job, but it ain't got nothing to do with Quinton Lucas and has nothing to do with KCMO Water.
Appreciate you, Mayor. We'll holler at you next week. Have a good one and be a blessing.
Thank you. Have a good week.